All right, everyone, this is Real Republican News, and I'm your host, Jason Mariner. I committed to everybody in the beginning that I was not going to stop until things got done, and that I was not going to quit until things changed. I also said that I was committed to remaining the biggest pain in the ass that the likes of Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, and Jeff Bezos had ever seen. And I also said that I was going to be a pain in the ass to our politicians and insist upon them getting together with me, one of their constituents, so to speak, one of the people that they have been elected to serve, and start helping me in this cause to help everyone else, right? This is a we thing. This is a we the people thing. So anyway, that's exactly what I've done. I've sent hundreds of letters, hundreds of emails, made hundreds of phone calls. And you know what happens when you do that? People start answering them. They start to call you back and they start to realize, well, we are not going to get rid of this guy. So let's just call him back. And then when they do, if you have something decent to say and you really want to help, they start to want to work with you. And they do things like invite you to press conferences. I just came from one, okay? Things like that start to occur and people start to pay attention is what I'm trying to tell you. And that one person can have an enormous impact. So that one person like me is now slated to meet with a senator, congresspeople, okay? Politicians of all sorts. President Trump, I'll be meeting with you next. I don't know if you know that yet, but we should make room on your schedule with all due respect because we do need to talk. Anyway, things are starting to occur. People are starting to agree to meet with us. So we are going to make progress. You will have your right to free speech back before you know it. We're going to make sure it happens. We're going to have everything to do with it. And we're also going to have everything to do with enticing the American people now to get off the couch and stop assuming that the person next door is going to do the heavy lifting and hard work for them. No, that's not what needs to happen. What needs to happen is we need to get up if we have an issue, knock on our neighbor's door and say, hey, let's go. We've got an issue to fix. That's how America started. That's how America needs to get back to where it was, a place where we can agree to disagree, a place where you can have a different political view than someone else, but not want to kill each other, okay? This country is way off track. In fact, I've got to tell you, I don't think we have America anymore because America means we have a constitution. That's what America is based off of. The Constitution, not parts of it, not pieces of it, not sections and segments of it, but the entirety of it. Well, the Constitution is in shambles if you haven't noticed. We have a faulty voting system subject to interference. That's unconstitutional. We have people changing voting laws halfway through the process. That's unconstitutional. We've got laws only applying to certain people, right? People like you and I, if we break the law, it's pretty certain that we're going to jail if we get caught. If you have a fancy last name like Biden, chances are you're not going to jail. Actually, you won't even be investigated, all right? You can do things like, go hang out with the most prolific rapist and probably murderer and definitely pedophile that's ever walked the face of this earth. But if your last name is Clinton, for example, you get to skate. You don't even have to be asked why you were around that guy so much and what you were doing with him on that island, Bill. Huh? What was going on there? We'd really love to know. I also think it's really important that we stop allowing the mainstream media and big tech to distract us from the things like that happen in this country. Do you realize that there was a man named Jeffrey Epstein who ran one of the largest scale human trafficking operations, one of the most despicable things you can do, violating minors, killing them probably? I'm not sure about that. I'm sure there were murders. Little boys, little girls, sexual abuse, rape, pedophilia. I mean, the most disgusting of crimes committed by some of the most powerful people in this country occurred. Why were they all on this guy's plane? What were they doing hanging out with him? You would think that a former president who does have Secret Service detail would have somebody like that checked out. And you would probably discover very quickly that they were kind of not okay. So it's not making sense to me that innocent Bill was just on the plane with Epstein talking about nothing, or maybe like discussing baseball like normal people do. No, they were not discussing baseball, okay? They were discussing 12-year-olds probably. How have we forgotten that this prolific pedophile just mysteriously killed himself, no witnesses around, at one of the most secure facilities, arguably, maybe in the world, okay? I would venture to guess that it's pretty tough to be on suicide watch at that what was it, Rikers Island? Pretty hard to be on suicide watch at Rikers Island. Hang yourself, get away with it. But we've got to also back up for a second. I've been in a jail cell. I know what they look like very well. You can't kill yourself in a jail cell by hanging yourself that way. You will not wind up with the type of wounds that Jeffrey Epstein wound up with. That man's larynx was crushed. Bones in his neck were broken. Not from a 2-foot fall from the top bunk. Bullcrap, okay? So, where is he still alive? Did he really get killed? Was that even the story? How come nobody saw it? Why was the guard tower cleared out? Why were the cameras shut? Where was the footage? None of it makes sense, but everybody's forgotten these heinous crimes. So I ask you this, what about the kids? Who were their families? How are they doing? What were their names? Again, what were their names? Who were these people? Where did they come from? What were their lives like before Jeffrey Epstein swept them up and shipped them off to some island in the Caribbean that he owned? I mean, there's witnesses to this stuff. People that saw what was going on. Underage children being brought to these places. People don't just make this stuff up. When they see it, they say something. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? All right, so they say something and then nothing comes of it because the mainstream media is clearly teamed up with the radical left. Think Clintons, think Obamas, think the Squad, think Bernie Sanders and his mittens. His mittens are radical too, I gotta tell you. Everything he wears is radical. So there's no denying that Bernie Sanders is a radical, right? Anyway, he dresses the part. Seriously. Anyway, moving along. How have we allowed ourselves to become a people where all we do is watch TV, all we do is scroll through our phones, and we allow things like this to go on in our country, and then the guy just gets off easy. He killed himself, that's the end of it. We haven't heard about it since. You will never convince me that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. In fact, you'll have a hard time convincing me that he's actually dead. I think his friends probably hid him somewhere. Where is he? I want to talk to him. I want to find out what he did. And then I want to make him pay. All right? Just my 2 cents on the matter. We have a million examples like this. Every time something weird like that happens, it's quickly covered up and forgotten about, just like the emails with Hillary Clinton, just like Benghazi. We forget about all these things because they want you to. They want you to like the left. They want you to think the left is good. But if you really look closely at what the left has done for this country, all you have to do is go back a couple days. What did our newly elected president do on day one in office? He signed 17 damn executive orders. He eliminated 20,000 plus jobs from the United States, a country that's hemorrhaging money, whose citizens are suffering, in need of money and jobs because of this China virus that we've suffered through for the past years. But day one, you see fit to unite the country and make things better by stripping 20 plus million Americans of jobs and also creating less energy independence and making us energy dependent upon a place like the Middle East, which they're not very friendly towards the United States. That should be a place that we don't do business in. Okay, that should be a place where we pull our troops out of. Okay, the Middle East, let's just turn it into a sheet of glass for all I care, but let's not be there. Okay, let's not get our oil from there, which we need to run our vehicles and basically the whole country. Okay, let's not be dependent on China for things like steel. Well, you're already starting to ship things back to China. China's already emboldened because of your presence in office, actually your lack of presence, I should say. President Biden, your lack of presence, they're already doing military exercises over sovereign airspace over Taiwan. I give Taiwan a month and it's very sad. I can't imagine how the Taiwanese people are feeling right now, except for defeated and basically like the shoe's gonna fall any moment. Could you imagine living like that? What do you think is going through the minds of people in Israel? They're not gonna last long without conservatives defending them. We know the Democrats won't. In fact, I don't even think the Democrats are going to defend you and I, the American people, anymore. You know why? They're too busy arguing, they're too busy settling personal vendettas with one another, and they're letting their BS get in the way of us being served, the people that put them in power in the first place. They are supposed to serve us, not the other way around. You know what they're doing? Like I just said, they're executing personal vendettas, they're returning favors, they're doing anything but helping the people of this country. In fact, they're doing quite the opposite. They're taking intentional measures to divide us. When Pelosi says she wants unity, but says what happened at the Capitol was because of whiteness, that's racist. Racism creates division. Division is the opposite of unification, okay? By the way, the country doesn't need unity. I have said this before. The country needs to get back to a point where we can agree to disagree, where we can agree that there's a two-party system. Sometimes that side wins, sometimes that side wins. But it's all going to be okay because at the end, we're all Americans. That's where we need to get back to, not unity, okay? We need to get back to constitutional adherence. The Constitution supports and protects your right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. That's it. I've said that before too. I'm not going to stop saying it until it starts getting repeated and heard and learned by others. This is stuff that every American needs to be crystal clear on, okay? There is no abridgment of constitutional rights. You can't do it. You can't limit people's free speech. You can't screw with the voting system. Well, I almost cursed there, and I would have had to redo this whole thing. They've completely effed up the voting system to the point where we don't know who the hell we're electing anymore. I mean, it's a banana republic. We've got countries like Haiti laughing at us saying we can elect our leaders better than they can. I'm not sure if they actually elect leaders in Haiti. You get the point. It's a banana republic. We're like a third world country with these voting machines. They just proved it in Georgia. They hired a team of hackers to see if they could get in the Dominion voting systems and manipulate them. And you know what? I think what it amounted to is an 8th grade hacker could do it. Okay? Why? Why is that the case? Well, I can only think of one reason, and it's to ensure victory by, the people who want to cheat. It's like a pretty simple concept. If you want to cheat, vulnerability in a voting system is very convenient for you. So I'm trying to get everybody to understand that this stuff is done by design. We are being separated as a people, brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, mothers and fathers. They're being ripped apart by political leaders. Communities are being destroyed by political leaders, okay? The country itself is in shambles because of political leaders. There's some good ones out there like the ones that we are trying to talk to and engage with and unite and fight in this effort with, but they are so vastly outnumbered in Washington, it's disgusting. The good politicians are maybe 5% of what you see in Washington. It is an absolute travesty that it has gotten to this point, but I will tell you this. The states need more power back. The federal government needs to lighten the load on the state level and let us do things the way we see fit. Okay? That absolutely needs to happen. States' rights need to be restored, and so do yours. I'm not going to stop until that happens. I never will. They can censor me into oblivion. I'm going to keep popping up. We'll just say this. It might not go over well with some people, but I'm going to be digital herpes. The second you think I'm gone, boom, I'm back, baby. All right? Because this is our country we're talking about. This is the United States of America. This is 340, I think, million people that we're talking about, lives at stake here. Yeah, 340 million individual sets of civil liberties are hanging in the balance. Because again, remember, if they can do it to us, they can do it to you. And these people don't stop. They don't stop by taking one of your rights away. They don't stop until they have it all. Why do you think all these powerful politicians and Hollywood people are found to be such pedophiles and sexual predators? It's one of the ultimate signs of power. It's one of the ultimate expressions of power, I should say, is to have that much domination over another human being. It wouldn't surprise me if they discovered camps where politicians and these Hollywood elite people go and hunt other people No, seriously. It'll happen one day. Mark my words. They'll find out that there's like some hunting camp where humans are hunted. That's another way to express ultimate power over another human being. These people are sick. The people that are taking your rights from you are absolutely sick and disgusting human beings. They have snuck their way into politics, and we've got to get them out. That's why I say it's time to get off the couch and knock on your neighbor's door and say, hey, we've got to do something about this. Don't forget about our petition. It's up on the page. Please read it. Please sign it. Please get as many of your neighbors to sign it as possible, because the more signatures we get on that, the better. And we know we are going to be heavily restricted by whoever's controlling whatever system is being used right now. People, it's very hard to tell what's going to translate into tomorrow. We don't know the rules. They're not told to us. You can see very little behind the scenes. It's a complete totalitarian power grab. It's a coordinated effort amongst big tech, the radical media, and the radical left. We need to put a stop to it. And the only way that that's going to happen is, like I said, if you get up off your couch and knock on your neighbor's door and start doing some things. My name is Jason Mariner, and until next time, I say God bless you, your families, those around you, and please protect and watch over this Constitution and the United States of America. Be well, everyone.